You're back at Clever TV's Eclipse Chapter Recap Series. I'm Jocelyn Davis, and today we are taking on Chapter 12. Keep watching. Chapter 12, Time. So this chapter opens up with Alice taking a look into the future, only because Edward is making her do so, of course. And Bella is super confused about whatever it is that Alice is talking about, and the pair continue walking towards the Cullen family house. Then Alice breaks the big news. They were having a graduation party for Bella in just a few days. And she knew that if they tried to make it a surprise, Bella would get super mad. So instead, she just told her because Edward basically made her do it. Bella is annoyed, but knows it's pointless. Even Edward is sort of annoyed at Alice, who tells Bella that she'll like her graduation gift. Bella seriously has no idea what she's going to get Alice for graduation, and her mind starts going a million miles an hour until Alice distracts her yet again. Graduation was just a week away. Wow, time was flying. Bella just wasn't really ready for everything else that was coming along with graduation and all the goodbyes that she was going to have to say, like goodbye to being human and to all of her family and friends. It was so complicated. Bella was almost in a haze at this point. Then once they got to Bella's house a little bit later, Edward finally begged Bella to open up to him. She didn't really want to admit her fears to him though, but she tried to explain everything. She just wasn't sure how to explain her choice to Charlie. Edward seriously seemed a little bit shocked that she wasn't stressing about the party. That's what he thought she was upset about. He thought that she wasn't ready to be turned. Edward then tries to explain that she has a choice and that the rest of them didn't get that choice. And look at what happened to Rose. He didn't want her to feel forced, even with all of the other crazy vampires trying to hunt her down. Bella didn't even have enough energy to argue with him, and after all, she did really trust him. But she still had a question that she wanted to ask him. It took her a few tries, but she finally did ask. Bella wants to know why he's worried about her and why he doesn't want her to become a vampire. Edward answers, saying that she could do so much better. She could find someone with a soul and not have to risk her own soul. He feels like almost a criminal allowing her to become a vampire. So, wow, Bella can't even really believe this. Edward? Selfish? Is this even possible? And here she was thinking that he wouldn't like her not being soft and warm. So crazy, all of these misunderstandings. Then Edward explains all of this despite the fact that he admits it'll be so much easier for him. He won't have to worry about killing her all the time. He'll feel better when she's, as he puts it so hilariously, more durable. So now Edward starts with his own little questioning bit. Does Bella want to be Edward's wife? The magic question. He really needs the truth on this one. So Bella finally explains the whole thing. Although she's about to die of complete embarrassment, she says that she is not that girl. You know, that girl that has nothing else to do, so she just gets married to pass the time. Smart, responsible, mature people don't get married the second they graduate from high school. And Edward basically says, so that's all? And then they both start to crack up at the ridiculousness of the entire situation. But after the whole laugh fest, Edward tells Bella that he's always been that boy. You know, that boy who would have done anything for love. He was that boy who would have dropped his whole life to drop down on one knee for his soulmate. So cute. But Bella still tries to explain that the era he first grew up in was so much different than the time period they were in now. Except if Bella was turned, well then time would probably not be an issue. Regardless though, Edward remains dedicated to the initial plan. He will only turn her himself if she marries him. The next day is there before Bella even knows it. She takes a look at the paper to check out some concert tickets that she thought about getting Edward and Alice for graduation gifts, but she's quickly distracted by an eye-catching headline. Seattle was being ravaged by mysterious serial killings, the worst in years in fact. The police thought it must be many killers working together, maybe even gang activity, but Bella, well, she knew all too well that this was not any normal gang. All of the information led to only one possibility, something that only Bella could have understood. As she came to her own conclusions, Edward arrived. Bella quickly pointed out the article to Edward. He admitted that yes, he knew about the problem, but that it had clearly gotten so much worse. Plus, he admits that Alice couldn't see anything at this point. She thought that maybe she might be losing her ability. After all of the craziness, the pair then decide to ditch school. Edward says that he needs to talk to Jasper, which strikes Bella as sort of odd because she always sort of felt like Jasper was really only around for Alice. Otherwise, he seems sort of like an outsider. So why at this point in time would Edward be turning to Jasper? When Edward and Bella arrive at the Cullen house, though, everyone is already watching the news deeply entranced. The vampire family begins discussing their own next move. Carlisle is clearly concerned, but they're not the Volturi. This is not their problem to deal with. Then Edward begins reading Jasper's mind. Jasper begins explaining what's really going on here. Only he, out of the entire family, would be able to understand this situation, given his own dark past. Slowly, Jasper opens up. He knows everyone is very confused, but he tells Bella that since she is one of them, she should understand what is really going on. Bella is actually shocked at this point that the vampire who tried to kill her a little bit earlier thought of her as such, as part of the family. Then Jasper starts pulling up the arm of his sleeve, showing her a scar. It was just like the scar she had. It was a bite mark. He explains, though, that he had many, many scars. The half moons covered his entire body. Bella is shocked. So what had happened to Jasper? And cliffhanger, that's where the chapter ends. We're gonna have to wait to get the answer to that question in our next chapter recap. So here's the question for you guys for this chapter. Who do you think Bella is more concerned about saying goodbye to? Charlie or Jacob? Let us know in the comments section below. And don't forget to come back here every single Saturday for our Eclipse chapter recap series. Until next time, I'm Jocelyn Davis. Have a great day.